This episode of Casual Compliance is brought to you by Miracle. Miracle, when you don't want to, pay attention to timing restrictions. Miracle, a mechanic that no one has ever played properly on their first try. Miracle, untap, upkeep, draw, play, untap, upkeep, draw, play, untap, upkeep, draw, play, untap, upkeep, draw, play. Hi, I'm Gramps.
I'm chillybin.
And in today's episode of Casual Compliance, we're going to do the same thing we do every time, where we spin a wheel, pull a card out of the hat of the banned list cards that are left. Here's the ones that are currently done.
Stop doing that.
Yeah. We'll spin the wheel, it'll show us a card. We're going to talk about the card that has been shown, we'll explain it to you, and then we will talk to each other about why we think the card is banned. We'll go away, we'll do a bit of research, then we'll come back. I will tell you why the card is banned, and I'll tell chillybin for the first time why the card is banned. We'll see if we were right in our thoughts, and then we'll have a sporting conversation in which the end will be the card will be unbanned and playable in all future games of Commander, because we are now the RC.
No, there's enough people on Twitter trying to claim they're the RC, and I think the one we've got is just fine.
Trans rights are human rights.
Yep.
Let's get to the wheel.
Yeah.
That's the fastest explanation I've done.
I think so,
We're
yeah.
no longer cozy, we're now hasty.
Yeah. We're expeditious.
Right.
And you brought your laptop this time.
Oh.
We're winning.
Yep, we're winning. We're winning.
Wait,
Okay.
If you just realised the battery's super low or something?
No, the battery's fine.
Okay.
I had a thought, though. There's a sticker missing on the laptop.
Okay.
We'll get there eventually. Start recording. Spin the wheel.
Here we go. I forgot that there's sound.
That no one hears but us.
Yeah.
Oh. It's this close to Emrakul. This close. Watch Cozy Magic Club with us playing, because you'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is Falling Star. Okay.
I don't have that kind of graphics budget.
Let's see why Falling Star is banned, shall we?
Okay.
Going to the command, it's...
Well, no. I don't want to know why it's banned yet.
So Falling Star
Tell me what it does.
is a 2 generic and a red.
Okay.
It's a sorcery. It is pretty wordy, because that's how Magic cards are, and I don't think it's been reprinted since. Flip Star onto the playmat area from a height of at least 1 foot.
Oh, it's this.
Star must turn at least 360 degrees or it has no effect. When Falling Star lands, Falling Star does 3 damage to each creature that it touches. Any creatures damaged by Falling Star that are not destroyed become tapped. I think...
I forgot that this card is on the list. I thought, because this sounds like an Unfinity mechanic or like unset mechanic. And it's like from an era where they were just like, oh, all uncards are just not legal.
We're going to go, I think, off book here.
Okay.
Because there are 2 cards that we can get in one episode right now, because this card should be banned. It is. It should. So let's talk Chaos Orb and Falling Star, shall we? Because Chaos Orb is the one you're thinking of, in my understanding. Just to remind everyone of what Chaos Orb is, once it decides to load. But Chaos Orb is it's a 2-cost artifact, colorless, mono artifact.
Okay.
Because it has mononucleosis, nucleitis, or whatever it's called. I am in the medical field.
It's glandular fever.
It has glandular fever. Pay 1, flip Chaos Orb onto the playing area from a height of at least 1 foot.
Yeah.
Chaos Orb must turn completely over at least once, or it is discarded with no effect. When Chaos Orb lands, any cards in play that it touches are destroyed, as is Chaos Orb.
Yeah.
So pretty similar, but Falling Star does 3 damage instead.
You're looking at them right now. I'm not.
Yep.
Do they have an identical ban reason?
Yes.
Okay.
In my understanding of the ban list, and we might come across other ones because I'm pretty sure these are the only 2. Yep, I believe these are the only 2 that do this function. So let's talk accessibility.
Yeah.
It's going to be a regular length episode. It's not a Knights. We are talking Chaos Orb and Falling Star specifically.
Yeah.
we're going to skip the research phase because we don't really need a research. We could. I have an idea on that though.
Yeah.
Where we could research ways that these cards could be made accessible.
Yeah, I'm also curious to go and look for other similar gimmicky kind of effects because they do exist.
Yep.
I think we should still have a look.
Let's talk about the ban.
Yeah.
Like why they're banned first.
Okay.
And then we can do a bit of a research phase and see what we can come up with that are gimmicky and maybe more accessible ways.
Little bit of an unorthodox episode. But
yes.
Yeah.
But
This is a weird situation.
So, they say the same thing. I believe they say the same thing. It looks like two different. Maybe it's the way the paragraphs are done or the formatting. RC, fix your website.
Hey.
He's good at them.
It's a good website. It's fine.
Cards that require manual dexterity present unique accessibility challenges for the format. We don't want Commander to be a format that you can only play if you can engage in specific physical actions. Chaos Orb and Falling Star incentivizes players to physically spread their cards out over a large area in order to minimize the possibility of multiple permanents being affected. At best, this is awkward, and at worst, it adds needless complexity to maintaining the state of the game.
And also, like, maintaining legible board states, I guess.
Exactly. And then what we also find, because that talks about the board state. Good luck finding a table big enough if you're playing Falling Star or Chaos Orb.
Yeah, how big is your kitchen table?
But also, the restriction of a height, dropping it onto the table, there's a level of ableism there.
Yeah.
For people that might not be able to stand at a level that can get to that height.
Yeah, and like the restriction around like the card must rotate a certain number of times. Like there's dexterity involved in being able to like propel the card in a way that rotates that much.
Yeah. So given they've mainly talked about the board state and what the play state looks like. There are a lot of accessibility issues here, and the whole purpose of Magic in Commander, despite what some people might say is it's meant to be accessible. Look at everything that Ruby from CMC is doing with the ladies and ladies.
Which I believe she's trying to rebrand, to be fair.
New name is incoming.
Yeah, it may have changed by the time this episode comes out.
Watch their space, maybe. But accessibility is how you get more and more and more players. If you start blocking people out with physical restrictions, you lose the potential to have other people bring their experiences to the game, bring their knowledge to the game. We only get new things with more people being into it.
Yeah, I would add to, like, in the realm of video games when it comes to like accessibility settings. What was that latest Star Wars?
Outlaws.
No, the one before that.
Oh, Jedi Survivor.
Yeah. So that has like Dark Souls style combat, but it has accessibility controls for widening the parry timing window.
Yeah.
And like you don't need to identify as having disabilities in order to make use of those to give yourself like a more comfortable experience.
Yeah.
So accessibility is not just for people that are, different levels of physical ability. It's also like you might just not want to deal with that complexity.
And accessibility and the ability to provide people with a shared and equitable experience is not a slight on those who don't share that disability.
Yeah.
The availability and ease of access does not detract from your experience because you can still experience it the way you want to. And if you are barring people access through your actions, saying that accessibility is ruining things, then you are the problem entirely. It's very clear.
Yeah.
There are barriers everywhere. Look at Half Coordinated is a speedrunner who is physically disabled, who developed his own controllers to speedrun games, and then was hired by Microsoft to work on their development of the accessible gamepad that they have.
Oh, the big like white rectangle with all the ports on the back. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
There is need.
Yeah.
And we don't want to cut anyone out.
No.
This is very...
But also, like, back to my point, that accessibility controller that Microsoft made, like, people in all sorts of realms started using it because There's all these different inputs on the back that they're just like 3.5 mil ports.
Yep.
And there's all sorts of like different fighting game controllers and all these other types of things that make use of stuff like that already, but being given like a first party, well engineered input device made that so much more, accessible to all sorts of different people.
Accessibility increases everything.
Yeah.
Like pushes development forward. So yeah, pretty clear answer on this one.
Yeah.
So I think because there's a lot of uncards, silver border cards that also do things like not specifically that.
No, I think my intent for research is to go and find like similar gimmick stuff that just because they come from unsets are banned, but just to like see what else is out there, because like it is an interesting like play mechanic that they tried to experiment with.
Yeah.
It's more out of curiosity just to go and see what else is there.
My favorite one is Flavor Judge. Just to put up there, Flavor Judge. Hey, this is the interaction that's happening. My dinosaur just crewed a train to crash into that wall, but also give me 5 treasures. Does that work in Flavor?
I like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Flavor Judge done.
Yeah.
The interaction happens. Let's have a look at it. Let's do a bit of research and see what we can find.
Yeah. Hey crew, chillybin here. Just want to let you know there won't be any syntax segment for this episode, mainly because I'm in the middle of moving house. This is literally the last thing I'm recording before packing up this office right here. Just wanted to drop in and say, yes, we have seen the September 2024 banned cards announcement for Commander. Yes, we are looking at it, but not too closely, because that would, remove some of the drama of the way that we produce our shows. So we are aware of, the 4 cards that got banned today, literally today. We've seen the ban reason. We're trying not to look too closely at it until they are updated on the website with final ban reasons announced. We will talk about them at some point, whether that's waiting for them to come up on the spin wheel or something else entirely. This is actually like a weird case for us. It's the first time that a ban update has happened, obviously while we've been producing the show, but while I've ever been playing Magic. I started playing 3 years ago. The last update was 2021, I believe, and that was even before I started playing. So yeah, it's a weird thing we have to figure out for the first time. So bear with us. Just know that we have seen it. We're thinking about how to talk about it, and we'll be back soon with something about those cards. Anyway, back to the episode.
Bit of a reminder, accessibility cards. We're going to do 2 in 1 for this episode. Chaos Orb and Falling Star. Chaos Orb is a 2-cost with pay 1, flip Chaos Orb onto the playing area from a height of at least 1 foot. We're in Australia.
It's an artifact, right? So you've got to play it first and then activate its ability.
Flip it onto the playing area from a height of at least 1 foot. Chaos Orb must turn completely over at least once, or it is discarded with no effect. When Chaos Orb lands, any cards in play that it touches are destroyed, as is Chaos Orb. Same time, Falling Star, which is 2 and a red for a sorcery. It also shortens the name in the text, which is really interesting. For Falling Star, the text says flip star.
Yeah, the official printing, yeah.
Yeah, onto the playing area from a height of at least 1 foot. Star must turn at least 360 degrees or it has no effect. When Falling Star lands, which is not Star, Falling Star does 3 damage to each creature that it touches. Any creature damaged by Falling Star that are not destroyed become tapped. First of all, Falling Star is just illegal because it doesn't name Falling Star as the card.
Is there a card named Star? I didn't look that up. Well, it doesn't matter.
We're pretty solid on this. Accessibility cards, dexterity cards, as they're called.
Yes.
Just not accessible.
It's not accessible design. No.
Before we get to yours, I do want to note that there are rulings on accessibility, on dexterity cards that do arguably, and I say arguably because I don't fully agree with it, increase the accessibility of them.
And these are like official comprehensive rules items?
Is as per Mark Rosewater.
Okay.
In Infinity release notes.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so that'll mean it's in the rules somewhere.
Yeah, in Acorn stuff.
Yeah.
So first one is, if for any reason a player is unable to perform the required feat of dexterity or other physical action, Players may discuss using an equivalent task. Sorry, the ads.
Yeah, that website is going to destroy your computer.
It literally is. Holy shit! It's just adding infinite ads.
Is that a fandom website?
This is the mtgfandom.com.
Yeah, fuck fandom, dude.
Oh, well, I use it a lot. Anyway, they can discuss with the playgroup an equivalent task. If they can find a suitable substitute that upholds the spirit of the card, players may use that instead.
Right.
And a player is also allowed to designate another person to act in their place for that physical action or feat of dexterity. Issue with that is you need a fifth person who's not playing, and that would be incredibly boring for them.
Or like, not annoying, but like imagine you're at an LGS and just like, hey, can you come over here and flip this card? It's like, what? Just don't play it.
Just don't play cards. Exactly. Yeah. How about no?
Yeah. It's already hard enough getting a commander pod together sometimes.
Exactly. It's hard getting 4. You want me to get a fucking fifth person?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I barely know 4 people.
Yeah.
I know him.
Yeah, that's 2.
Anyway, I think Chaos Confetti is the worst of this. Chaos Confetti is...
Yeah, I did pull that one up.
Yeah, it's an artifact, 4 and tap, tear it into pieces, throw the pieces onto the battlefield from a distance of at least 5 feet. We live in Australia.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a foot?
Yeah.
That's 12 inches, I know that, but I don't know what that is in centimetres, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Destroy each permanent that a piece touches, remove the pieces from the game.
Yeah, and that's from an unset.
Yes,
right?
that is from the unglued set.
Whereas Chaos Orb isn't.
No, Chaos Orb is from a proper set, and they realise, man, we made a mistake with this card.
Whereas Falling Star is from Legends, and it is now part of the reserve list and banned in every single format.
Yep. And the thing with Chaos Confetti, you have to... It requires a physical act first of tearing the card up, which some people might not be able to do. I mean, you can use scissors, I understand that, but the whole point of bringing extra stuff is you bring dice for counters.
Yeah.
They're not selling magic cards with scissors. That would be dangerous. Also,
kind of against the point of like you buy the cards to play with them.
Exactly. Unless you're an older version of me. Blacker Lotus.
Uh-huh.
Blacker Lotus is also an artifact, it's a 0-cost artifact. That is tap, tear it into pieces, add 4 mana of any one color to your mana pool, play this ability as a mana source, remove the pieces from the game afterward.
Right.
So it's basically a one ever use Black Lotus. It's a better version of it because you're not flipping cards.
Let's errata every Black Lotus to be a Blacker Lotus.
Yes, 100%. Hey, that $180,000 card that you have, rip it up.
Tank the market.
Do it. Still requires you to rip.
Yeah.
Ripping, arguably more accessible than flipping because you have scissors, but still not accessible. In my opinion, before we get to the chillybin side of things, Starlight Spectacular came out in Unfinity.
Yes.
It's a 4-cost, 2 generic white for an enchantment. It's rare. It says Parade! At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose creatures you control one at a time until each creature you control has been chosen. Each of those creatures gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature chosen before it. The first creature gets +0/+0.
Yeah.
And what's really fun about the ruling of this, but is what's spoken about a lot online, my go-to place, Reddit. You don't have to line the creatures up in a parade line to get the bonuses, but it would be spectacular if you did.
Right.
And people found that people playing Starlight Spectacular were lining up their creatures in line for
just to be like 0, 1, 2, just to make it easier.
So instead of forcing you to widen your board state, it forces you to neaten your fucking board state.
Yeah.
You need
to
neaten your board state.
Please.
I can't see what's happening.
Yeah.
Are those islands tapped? Are they untapped? Which creatures are attacking? What did you play this turn? Where'd your Soul Ring go? Oh wait, no, that's in the graveyard. No wait.
I think Starlight Spectacular 2 is part of the small group of Unfinity cards that are like eternal legal.
I believe so. It's not an A-Chord.
Because I came very close to putting it in a deck once. Yeah,
Paradise Lost, baby.
Yeah, you do. You do love that card.
It's in Borborygmos.
Yeah. So a couple interesting notes that I found. So for Falling Star in particular, on the official ruling for this card, it says it must flip like a coin and not like a frisbee.
Yeah, okay.
Which I just thought was funny. So what I went and did.
Yep.
As I looked up Falling Star on Scryfall, and at the bottom of the page, you can go and view the card on Tagger, and then you can go and find the functional tags that will kind of group cards together that have these similar sort of attributes. And the attribute that applies to Falling Star is Dexterity.
Yep.
So I was just scrolling through that. There's like 60 of them in all of Magic, which is kind of gross. But almost all of them are from older unset printings.
Two non-unset and then the rest unset.
Back in the realm where like every unset was only legal in that environment. You couldn't go and play them in Commander or whatever the fuck.
And we're going back to that space too. Good job.
Yeah. The other thing you mentioned about like needing players outside of the game, there are about 30 cards that do that, but I didn't pull any of them up because they're not as interesting as some of these. Like I do find, for the purposes of unsets, some of these dexterity-based cards to be like kind of interesting ideas that they're playing with, but also some of the interactions get really funky. Like a real handful, which is printed in Infinity, which is an alien child guest, just a 1/1.
Nice.
And it has 3 kind of conditions on it, so I'll just go through them. As long as 1 or more hands are touching a real handful, it gets +2/+2. So yeah, and in the ruling it says generally only hands attached to humans count for these abilities. And also every hand that touches a real handful must do so willingly. So there is consent baked into the rulings.
Hey, accessibility.
The same hand can be touching multiple real handfuls at the same time as in the rulings. Anyway, the second ability on here, as long as 2 or more hands are touching a real handful, it has menace. As long as 3 or more hands are touching it, it has lifelink.
Two-headed giant.
Could do, but also it says down here, like, pay attention to whether the 2/2 bonus is applying or not. Damage can suddenly become lethal if it loses that bonus after damage has been dealt to it. So it's it's like it doesn't even use the stack. It's like a just immediate special action.
Because you say it's a 1/1, you block, but then you put your finger on it. But then if you take your finger off before the end step, damage is still counted. Suddenly, gone.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
I like that's
in the realm of Infinity, because that's the only place it's legal.
Exactly, and going into the principle of the alternative, that is somewhere where if someone's using an accessibility tool to hold their cards because they might not have access to the limb to require them to hold the cards, there can be alternatives there.
Yeah, I would maybe say like generally, humans have 2 hands. I'll give you 2 counters. You can choose where to put them to represent you touching cards.
Exactly. And your 6th finger doesn't count as another hand. It's still on your 1 hand.
This one showed up.
Oh, hand counters. Sorry.
Oh, no. Okay. This one showed up. Look at how much text is on this fucking
Oh, my God.
This one showed up under Dexterity, and it's a real nightmare of words.
Is it Dexterity because you have to read the fucking thing?
No, there are things about physical actions, and anyway, I'll read the whole thing top to bottom.
Yep.
It's insane. It's called Bureaucracy. It is from Unglued. 3 generic, 2 blue for an enchantment. And it reads, pursuant to subsection 3.1 brackets 4 of Richard's Rules of Order, at the beginning of the upkeep of each participant in this game of the Magic the Gathering Registered Trademark Trading Card Game, hereafter known as Player, that player performs all actions in the sequence of previously added actions, hereafter known as Action Queue. In the order those actions were added, then adds another action to the end of the action queue. All actions must be simple physical or verbal actions that a player can perform while sitting in a chair, such as these, without jeopardizing the health and security of said player. When any player does not perform all the prescribed actions in the correct order, sacrifice Bureaucracy, and said player discards their complement of cards in hand, hereafter known as hand.
I thought the end was sacrifice said player. Hey, you didn't cough when I said cough, so into the sacrificial pit.
So I think I'm trying to...
That's actually like an accessibility king. Yeah, don't put anyone in danger.
I'm trying to actually work out what this card does.
So it's Taskmaster the card. So once it goes down, I'll be like, cough.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to cough
and then do something.
Stand.
And then the next person has to... it's each upkeep. So like, first upkeep, someone puts something on the action queue. Yeah. Second upkeep, someone does it and then puts another... So it just like builds up. And then at any point, if someone doesn't do them in the right order, you throw it out and they discard their hand.
That's a format. That's a format where bureaucracy stays.
That's
permanently. That's
oh god.
that can be done accessibly.
Yeah,
that can be done
because
accessibly.
the actions, verbal or physical, are determined by the players.
Yeah.
Okay.
That can be done.
That could work.
New commander format, bureaucracy.
Oh no, Chaos Confetti. You already went over that. But have you seen Clay Pigeon?
This better be what I think it is.
Clay Pigeon is a 3 generic cost artifact creature bird with flying and an activated ability. Okay, I'm gonna read you the cost, and then I'll read the actual ability. So everything before the colon. Pay 1 generic mana. Throw Clay Pigeon into the air at least 2 feet above your head while seated. Attempt to catch it with 1 hand. That's the cost.
Oh, okay, not what I thought.
And then the actual ability. If you catch Clay Pigeon, prevent all damage to you from any one source and return Clay Pigeon to play tapped, otherwise sacrifice it. So you're tossing it in the air and trying to catch it with 1 hand. And if you do that, you prevent damage, otherwise you put it in the graveyard.
So being an American game,
yeah,
my thought was throw it in the air while your mate shoots it.
Yeah, or tries to hit it with another card.
Yeah. No, shoots it. I was going to say, clay pigeon specifically isn't legal in Australia because we have gun laws.
Yeah, so Australian Highlander out.
The only card on the Australian Highlander ban list.
Because it was printed and unglued, it's not legal anywhere.
What an interesting, like, hey, do this really difficult dexterity feat for not a lot.
Yeah, like it is preventing all damage to you, the player, from any one source.
From one source. Hey, that 1/1 that's swinging at me this turn, is it a 2? It's a 1/1 as well?
It's a 1/1.
That 1/1 swinging at me turn? No.
No blocks, except I activate this ability before damage. Ridiculous.
Far out. Not, like, these cards are funny, but they're banned for a reason.
This one I put in here just because
Art looks rad.
The art's good. It's Trapeze Artist from Unfinity, but I put in here because a lot of these cards refer to distances by feet. Yep. Trapeze Artist enters the battlefield by being flipped from a height of at least 1 foot, and then thankfully has the reminder text in brackets, about 0.3 meters. We got there.
30 centimeters, baby.
That's accessible design for people that don't live in the US.
Yeah, thank God.
Or actually the UK is a weird hybrid of like imperial and metric.
Don't forget to flip it from 14 stone and 10 pence. Piss off.
That is both a weight and a currency measurement.
Use metric. What is this imperial shit? This isn't Warhammer.
Then there's some other stuff, but I just thought it was funny that it actually had the reminder text of about 0.3 meters.
I've checked our analytics. We don't have any British watches anyway.
Well, we certainly won't now. I've got 2 that I think kind of pair well together.
Is that art?
Yeah, this sucks.
That tattooed on me.
Don't. It's horrendous. So this card is called Eye to Eye. It is from Unhinged.
Eye borders, isn't it?
It is from Unhinged. There are eyes around the border of the artwork, and one in the bottom right corner. Just disgusting. 2 generic and a black for an instant that says you and target creature's controller have a staring contest. If you win, destroy that creature.
I'm going to get this tattooed on my leg.
Yeah, I could see it, actually.
Yeah, although, I hope you can see it.
It's like got stuff pulling its eyes open, like a Clockwork Orange, if you look closely. Yeah. Oh.
I hope you can see it.
Thank you. And the one that I think pairs well with it is called Mouth to Mouth. It is also from Unhinged. 3 generic, 1 blue for a sorcery. Choose target opponent and target creature they control. You and that player have a breath holding contest. If you win, you gain control of that creature.
Not what I thought it was going
to. No. So I've pulled a card up here.
Sorry, go back to Mouth for a second. That's the fucking Michael Phelps card. That man is genetically engineered to specifically play mouth to mouth.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I'll remind you at this point in time, Wizards is owned by Hasbro.
Yes.
Who also own Nerf.
Yes.
So I'm going to introduce you to a card called Nerf War, which is from the set HasCon 2017. And there's like some other Hasbro stuff that shows up, and it's like if you own a Transformers toy, and there's weird stuff like that.
Fair, but Hasbro are ruining Magic, so we'll just go with the one card.
We'll get past that. So 3 generic, blue-red for a sorcery. Fire a Nerf blaster until empty at target library from at least 2 meters away. I know. 2 meters. For each card knocked off that library, put it into its owner's graveyard, and Nerf War deals half damage to that player.
I guess just for our American...
Also, I should note, it says in reminder text, foam darts only.
We're back to the clay bird.
Yeah.
And I guess for our American fans, 2 meters is lone metric.
Yeah. It's 2 meters.
Yeah, lone metric.
Yeah. Fucking Nerf. And the last one I've got is Gluteus Maximus. But Gluteus is spelt like it's glue, Glue. It is from Unhinged, is 3 generic, green for a creature beast. There's a 5/5, the art on this card means the power and toughness is inside the card art. Fucking unsets. As Gluteus Maximus enters, an opponent chooses one of your fingers. Reminder text, thumbs are fingers too. When the chosen finger isn't touching Gluteus Maximus, sacrifice it.
That's a thumb rule in King's Cup.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thumb on the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you play 2 of these, and you choose a finger on each of an opponent's hand, they are now stuck here. Or
it makes me think of...
an opponent chooses one of your fingers. Sorry, I've got that the wrong way.
I make it think... It makes me think of Finding Nemo. Like, a touch of the butt.
Yeah. So stuff like this, like, again, like we said before, you could, if someone wasn't able to, like, do the keep your finger on it thing, you just be like, put a counter on it. I don't know, maybe you flip a coin every upkeep to see if it stays. Like, there's, you could work that out as a group, but...
Or, put a counter on it, once per turn, knock the table with your leg, and if the counter comes off,
sure,
game over.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, some of these dexterity things are just like, they make sense in the context of an unset because you're going into it knowing...
Doing really silly things.
Shit is just a playground.
It's also not Commander, so it's not 100 cards.
Yeah.
It's for a format. It's 40 cards because it's meant to actually be drafted or sealed.
Sealed, yeah.
So like the requirement is a lot less, whereas Falling Star, Chaos Orb are brought into a 64 format.
Yeah. Just like standard legal cards.
Exactly. And were very quickly made unlegal for obvious reasons. Yeah, accessibility is important. Get your friends, no matter what, into playing Magic. It's a legal requirement as a Magic player to at least bring 2 people to the party.
Yeah.
I brought my 2. I regret it. I've never beaten them at a game of Commander again.
I think I've brought 1 so far into the game.
Letting the team down.
I know, but I've only been playing for like 3 years.
And 2 of those were COVID. So
True.
I'm not even going to ask if it can be unbanned. It stays banned.
Yeah, both of them.
I do appreciate that they haven't printed accessibility cards, dexterity cards since. They have in unsets without environments as expected.
I think that's fine.
And that's where they stay.
Yeah.
And, the one that is legal, which is the parade card.
Oh, yeah. Fully it's optional. It's not part of the card actually resolving.
You don't actually have to put an order. You can put counter 1, 2, 3, 4 on it. Just most people neaten their board state. And what we really learned from this today is you need to neaten your board state.
Legibility is important.
I'm Gramps.
I'm Chillybin.
You can find us on TikTok, where I've just done a dump post of our TikToks.
Yeah, you watch us get rate limited to hell.
Not my problem. That's TikTok's problem, which, I mean, Americans won't be able to watch it as of next month anyway.
Yeah.
You can find us at YouTube, which is the most important place to find us. TikTok, YouTube is at Casual Compliance. Patreon.com/Casual Compliance, where stuff will be coming soon. I say that every time, but we actually had a meeting about it finally.
Yeah.
X/Twitter/ Elon Musk's hellscape. We are at Compliance Show because someone else has Casual Compliance and they can sit on that forever if they want to.
Not doing anything with it.
And in a fortnight, we will be at PAX Australia. Our interaction with PAX Australia is a little different to most content creators' interactions with PAX Australia. If you see us in bright yellow shirts,
No, you didn't.
Please don't approach us. Genuinely,
We're working.
We're working. But if you see us outside of those bright yellow shirts, please come and approach us.
Yeah. We have a running bet that the moment someone recognizes and says hello to one of us...
That we don't know.
Yeah, that we don't know, and says like, hey, you're that guy from Casual Compliance, the other one has to buy them a drink.
Yep. And
I'd love to cash that in.
Yeah. So and the thing is, there's going to be a massive variation in price because I don't drink. So I get a Pepsi, or he gets a good cold pint.
Yeah. Or a fancy cocktail.
Come see us. Say g'day. And yeah, if there's a chance, I'll have my Dan deck with me. I won't have a lot of time for Commander, but I will have time for Dan. So
I'll see what I can do. I'll try and make some Commander happen.
Old Faithful. And I will have Gramps stickers.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's a 30th anniversary Gramps sticker that I have. If you do find me, grab one.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. As always, also feel free to email us, casualcompliance@gmail.com.
That's right, I knew we were forgetting
Give us feedback.
Yeah. Or get in the comments.
If you have ideas, let us know. Thank you everyone for the comments so far and for watching. We really appreciate it.
Ciao.